Oh, Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly high. Through the rain, through the fire. This is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. Oh, I'm Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly high. Through the rain, through the fire. This is my club, my only desire.
Definitely not tech savvy. Definitely not tech savvy. But anyway, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching this podcast in any time zone in the world. I know I'm muted, Colin. I do realize. I just told you I'm not. I'm not tech savvy. Now, if you guys heard just before the stream started, I debuted the new song that will be going up on Spotify, sung by Colin as well. Now we are looking to bring it in as an intro for next season. There is a new intro coming for the Transfer News show as well, so that will hopefully be with us for the next one. But you know, we've got a lot to go through, a lot of transfer rumors, rumor mill. Oh, was it not sung by? I thought it was sung by you actually. It sounded like you had your, I don't know, rock vibes to it. He's a very good ballad singer, our Column, but also can do a very good Ozzy Osbourne as well, by the way. Yeah. And don't forget, guys, we are following Canada in the World Cup. This is your number one Canadian channel for supporting Canada. Know nothing about Canada football, but I'm going to take a crash course in it very soon and learn about it. But guys, yeah, we're going to talk everything. Oh, is it pants need to go? I like it. That I tell you one thing, Colin. There's a lot. We're going to play at the end. We're going to play out with it. It is. It's. I love it. I literally love it. Really do. Um, but what we're looking to do is get all the intro music that we've had, the good ones that we've had, and we're going to put them all on a Spotify list. You can download them, have them as ringtones, have them on your phone. Something we'll, as I said, we will get round to that. Merch will be coming out in June as well. We will get. We're going to sort all that out as well for you guys. And of course, we've got a lot coming up in the channel. This channel is growing, and we're going to do a lot of stuff. So we've got transfers tonight. We've got rumors. We've got stuff from people I use. A little bit of an update on Solanke, and then me and Billy have got together, and we sort of put 2 11s out, but we've left out where we think Tottenham need to improve in the summer. And to be fair, me and Billy are not far off in some areas. We're really not far off. So we'll wait for Billy to come in and we will start that. But let's welcome a few people in and let's go then. Guys, very quickly, if you can hit the link to follow us on TikTok and X as well. X is T-H-F-D-882. That's on X if you can follow us on there. And then also THFC2 We Die 882 one word on TikTok. On TikTok, we reached over 1,000 views, 1,000 followers last night. I'm chuffed. I am really chuffed. I mean, I never thought I would get that following. I got over 2,000 on X and over 1,000 on TikTok. I'm just blown away by it. And look, we're nearly hitting 3K on the channel. If somebody said to me 5 years ago, Dermo, you're going to have these many followers, I would have said you're talking. I'll be lucky if I get to 500. and to be nearly at 3K and to be over 2K on X and 1K on TikTok, um, is mesmerizing. The only worrying thing to that is I did a show the other day and I did a load of shorts, and I came out talking about West Ham, and it's probably got more views than some of my other TikToks. Over 4,000 views, I think, so far. I don't know what I said wrong. But loads of West Ham fans are loving it, apparently. There you go. You can please everyone, but you can always make sure you can make a West Ham fan happy. Anyway, big up to Killing Kenny, big up your Killing, big up Dermot. You know me, let me watch yours. Exactly. Big up to Wayne Bonner. Wayne, I got your back, brother. He says, good evening, folks. Hope you're all well. And regardless of where we are next season, we need to bring in a striker. Well, we can bring in a striker, but I'm definitely bringing in a legend, a man that his legends precedes him. He wherever he goes, rose petals are put in front of him. You know,
I wish.
Tottenham flags.
I wish.
Tottenham flags are put on the floor. He doesn't have to walk in the foot. There he goes to Tottenham now. He gets taken into a big box and given bottles of champagne.
I wish, mate. I wish.
Has he invited me yet? No. Why not? But Billy, how are you, bud? Sorry.
I'm good, mate. Not too bad. I'm looking forward to talking transfers, but I mean we've lost another player today, haven't we, for injury? So
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It's getting ridiculous, Billy. It really is. I mean, we reported it earlier that, or I was given the information earlier that it'd be only out for 1 to 2 weeks. Now, I know it's all over X. He's out with a grade 2 hamstring. I would advise, I don't know if you would agree or not, but I would advise just to wait to hear from the club first, because there's a lot of misinformation.
Well, that happened with Kolo Muani this morning, didn't it? So
yeah, it did. Where hang on, where am I going? Oh yeah. So where you want it all, Billy? Where you want it, bud? With transfers, what are you hoping for? What's are you hoping for the board to go out? Just get out early and get business done early or before pre-season? Is that what you want?
we have to. Yeah, we have to. Obviously, I think there are 2 possible transfer windows, depending on which division that we're in. I think it'll be very different if we get relegated to if we stay up. But the problem is if we do stay in the Premier League and we have to improve the squad massively.
Yeah,
as in massively. The problem with that is the World Cup. So a lot of the players will be saying, "Oh, I'm not going to move to." Remember, we had this before with the Euros a couple of years ago. When we tried to sign Eze, and it was all, "I'm not going to move until after the World Cup," until after the Euros and this, and then suddenly you run out of time. So it might be difficult, but I really, really hope that they've sat down with De Zerbi already, and if there is a new director of football, and they've already started to have these conversations, because we have got so much work to do, my friend, that if they don't get ahead of it, then we're going to run out of time again.
We are. Big up Colin says, I've been told Billy is now going to be the new owner of THFC after purchasing the club for a staggering. God, you kept that one quiet, Billy. Well done,
I wish. If it was £2.50,
could you give me a good job, by the way?
If it was £2.50,
do you know what? If it's £2.50, I'll go in with you. I'll make it a £5. With joint effort.
Double it.
Double it. Look, I was saying it today, Billy, in the show earlier, and it got onto conversation about Enoch, and somebody put in the chat that Enoch and getting what they wanted, they're relegating the club, and I said, well, Enoch has already done what they set out to do back in 2001. Their aim, Champions League. That's it.
Yeah.
Not about winning trophies, not about nothing. It was all about, and they've done what they set out to do. If you're being honest, they've done it. But the silence this season, Billy, has been staggering. How Lang's still in the job, I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Where's he go? Anyway, he will be back. How he's still in the job, and if he's part of any conversations going forward, that is sort of, for me, staggering in itself, because how can you trust a man that's spent over 700 million on players into a football club and we're in a relegation zone? How can you trust a man with another window? And I'd love to know who's calling the shots, because if it's left to Vinay and Lang, I do the price war going on at the moment. It really is staggering that, again, the Lewis family are failing at what they're supposed to do. They're failing to change this football club. They're changing to get things right, because they have failed in so many levels this season. They failed on Thomas Frank. They failed on Pick and Tudor. They failed on not getting the Zerbi in earlier. They failed on and you can blame this on Enoch and Levy as well. The money and the I won't get this word right, so I do apologize. The strategic way of running the football club has been done in one purpose and one purpose only. That's about making the owners money. It's not about buying the best players. It's not about going out for the next trophy. It's all about where's the next hotel we can buy? Where's the next Go Cat track? And I've got no problems with the Go track and with the concerts and the boxing. I have no problem with it, because in theory, it's the right thing to do, because football has evolved in that way. Football has totally okay, Brand. Football has evolved. Okay, I'm just getting an update. Right. Okay. Just checking on something. Give me a few minutes. I'm just checking on something here. I'm just waiting for another bit of an update. It is on Solanke. Yeah. Oh, well, I know we reported earlier that Solanke, we're not sure about it, but it's now been confirmed Solanke is out for the season. Now, I'm waiting for a major update on what it is, and it could be a second grade 2 hamstring injury. Now, again, Billy, this is the club allowing it to go out about it being a muscular injury without even going through the proper medical scans first. How devastating is that for De Zerbi now? Because I feel, Billy, right, when he needs strikers at the most time he needs it, he's losing more players. I mean, if it can't get bad, it's getting worse, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just you just can't catch a break at the moment, and we're desperate for goals. Have been all season. Solanke has had a poor season. He's been injured in and out the side, but at the end of the day, he's still our 60. He's still our preferred number one striker. So we've lost that. I don't think it's too bad with Richarlison in there instead, because I think Solanke's been quite poor lately. But having said that, you would just much rather have Solanke fit. Of course you would, because we just need players. We're desperate for players, and it's just another one. Another loss, another player gone, and a lot of the injuries seem to be happening to the front three as well. It's just desperately disappointing.
Yeah, it is. It really is, Billy. I mean, if it doesn't rain, it pours, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we joked about the medical department last night, Billy, but it's gone beyond the joke now. I do. I don't know if you feel the same, but I do hold the Lewis family and Enoch wholly responsible for this. Because if you look at United, you look at Liverpool, you look at Chelsea, you look at other Premier clubs, they are so well organized when it comes to the medical department and that. I don't blame the people working in the medical department. I blame the person who built that, and that does fall on Levy. And a lot of what Levy's done is now sort of coming home to roost now, isn't it? In a way,
without a doubt. And it can't be a coincidence anymore. There's just too many injuries. There are too many injuries for this to be some kind of, crazy conspiracy or crazy, something that's going wrong or somewhere. It's got to be. There must be some reasons behind it. And I think, this has happened 2 years in a row. This is a new medical team now, even. So you're right. It must be the structure that's in place that is causing it, because these are all completely different guys than they were here last season, and it's still happening. In fact, it's getting even worse. So. They need to do a massive. For me, I personally think the biggest problem out of all of it is we just don't have enough players that we rotate with, and we end up overplaying all these players, and that's a squad building thing. So But I've never
I
known
mean,
anything like this in my life. This many injuries. It's just absolutely insane.
I haven't. And look, no wonder Paratici left, by the way.
Yeah.
He must have looked at us and think, right, I ain't sticking around here. This is a circus here.
And he's done it. Don't forget, he's been at a proper club in Juventus. So
yeah,
he would know. He will be able to know the difference.
I mean, you look at what he did in one transfer window when we had him. The list of players that came in: Vicario, Romero, Mickey van der Ven. I think he bought Porro, didn't he?
Thfc, Bentancur,
yeah. You look at the players he bought in, and now you look at what we're left with. I mean, he told the board in November or October, get rid of him, get rid of Thomas Frank, and Dumbo and Dumbo. Oh no, we know what we're doing. Leave it to us, Jack. And he's probably said, do you know what? If not going to listen to me, I'm out of here.
It's infuriating, isn't it? It's absolutely infuriating.
I was saying earlier, Billy, I was saying earlier about somebody came in with a comment and put Enoch have said this is Enoch's fault, and it is. But a lot of people don't realise this is a 25-year building exercise where we got to this point. Can you think of any other club in the Premier League? You could say Manchester United that have been ran with non-footballing point of view. And do you know all the owners care about is everything else by the football? Not even the Glazers. And I know they're woeful. I know Colum's going to kill me for saying this, but they spent money.
The thing is, the Glazers, they always spend money, don't they? They do spend a lot of money.
Yeah. They don't spend their own money.
Yeah.
To be fair. But do you know my point? This is for me, it's the final domino, if there is one, of our season. I mean, any hope we had of staying up, has it gone from you now? Or do you think, like me, I'm still hanging on by a thread?
Yeah.
I'm hanging on by my fingernails that we can stay up.
That's what I'm doing as well, just because, I can't give up.
No.
It's just, it feels like everything's going against us. We're losing since De Zerbi's been here. We've lost Vicario, Udogi, Sarr, Kudus, Romero, Solanke, and Xavi, and that's in 3 games. That's just unheard of. But we can't give up until it's over, so we have to try and find a way somehow. But everything is just stacking against us every week, isn't it? It's hard, but can't give up.
We've got Villa on Sunday. We will get into that more in the week, but do you know who goes up front Sunday, Billy? Richie.
Yeah. Richie, Mawani, and Tal. They're the only people left, aren't they? There's no one else.
Jesus. I don't know. Right. Where I'm going to start in this is, I'm going to start in this. Me and Billy got together and we worked out where does Tottenham need to change, where we need to improve in the summer. So
and we didn't just say everywhere. We didn't just say every single position. I wish we could.
No, we didn't. We kept a few, but we've got Billy's one the first, and then I'm 2. So Billy, do you want to go through your lineup? I know I've put players in there. I've just put players in there fill up gaps, but go through your places where we need improvement and why you think we need.
We're pretty similar, aren't we? But obviously, we need a left winger because we haven't replaced Son yet. I think, we tried to do that last summer, didn't do it. Tried to do it in January with Semenyo, didn't do it. And we haven't replaced Son. And you look at our amount of goals that we scored this season, and you can still hurting us. Progressive passer in midfield we've needed for so long now, haven't we? And that's a big thing in centre mid. We've got loads of midfielders. We've got Gallagher, Sarr, Bentancur, Bissouma, Palhinha, but they're all quite similar profiles. So I'd love someone like an Adam Morton in there, or someone that can play a forward ball. I know Elliot Anderson is obviously impossible for us to sign, but that's the kind of player that we need there. Centre back, I imagine that Romero and Van der Ven are both going in summer, so we're going to need a centre back, and Senesi will be a good sign in there. And then fullbacks, Porro could well go. Udogi could well go. We need a left back even with Udogi because he's always injured, so definitely need a fullback. And then striker. Personally, I would sell both Solanke and Richarlison. I just don't think either of them are good enough for the level where we want to be anymore. And we need a really prolific striker. Since Harry came, we've been counting the cost of that. And yeah, I do agree, Tara, that Wharton is a pipe dream, but that's the kind of profile that we need. Last season we could have, when we were in the Champions League, we could have made that sign in, but not going to happen anymore. But we definitely need a progressive partner like Adam Morton. There might be someone like Hayden Hackney now if we get, from the Championship, but we definitely need someone like that.
We do. I mean, look, we're not. Yeah, I agree with you. We need a right back. We need a left foot striker. Look, if we stay in the Premier League, there's a good chance we could be getting Andy Robertson from Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you not have them there and have your doggy as a backup to him? And then you've got Spence and Porro. Would that work, or do you think if we do stay up, that your doggy and Porro will go regardless anyway? Where are you on it?
I wouldn't surprise me if they went. Wouldn't surprise me if they left. Particularly, obviously, if we go down, I think they'll both go. But I think Porro might well go, just because he seems to be falling out, with the club a little bit. Obviously, you've made a couple of comments about the fans this season and stuff, so it wouldn't surprise me if Porro looks to go. Robertson, I definitely bring him for his experience. We should have done it in January, really, because now I'm playing Jed Spence at left back, and he just, he's a right foot, he just can't play there, so it'll be difficult.
I would, yeah. Look, I agree with some of the comments. Troy Parrott, and look, I'm a massive fan of Mason Melia. I've seen him over here, Billy. I know what he's like. That lad is he's for me, he's the second Common. He is the second Robbie Keane, in my opinion. Look, I've watched him a lot, and I know a lot of people say, well, League of Ireland isn't Premier League. League of Ireland is more like League One, but I swear by this guy, Billy. He's got the talent to go to the top. He could be the next Harry Kane if we treat him right.
Harry Kane just scored, by the way, so that'd be good.
Good on Harry Kane. Please come back to Tottenham. We bloody need you. Troy Parrott. I know we sold him. Now, I got a bit of a soft spot Parrott because he is our striker for Ireland. And the way he's improved his game over the last few years he has improved. And you look at 5 goals in 2 games for Ireland to get us into the playoffs. Even if we go down to the Championship, is that a type of striker you think we need to get us going? I think it is, because if you look at the strikers we've had over the years, Billy, we've always had Jimmy Greaves going on to Martin Shivers, and then we had a lean period. Then we had Crooks and Archibald. Then we had Clive Allen. Then we had Gary Lineker. And then we had, of course, Teddy Sheringham and Berbatov and Keane and Defoe. We've always had good strikers at the club. Do you think Troy Parrott could come back and fill a gap for a couple of seasons till we get sorted?
I think he could. I think there's a chance that he explodes at a top team as well. We've seen him do well in Holland. And we know sometimes it's difficult to trust that league because of how it is. But there's a chance that if he's playing in a proper team, he might do really, really well. He's obviously got a good record, unbelievable scoring record in the Dutch league. We know the Dutch league can be a bit dodgy. When we got Jansen, but he said he loves the club and he wants to come back, so I would do it all day long. I'd much rather be happier going into these last 4 games of the season with Troy Parrott up front than Richarlison and Solanke. So
I
would do it all day long. And
with Mason Melia being Irish and Troy Parrott being Irish, do you think that might help him as well? Might bring him along?
Yeah.
And what would you do with Melia? Would you start bringing them into the first team, Billy? Would you start like in pre-season? Getting them into the first team, start giving us some.
There's him and the guy we signed from Hearts as well, isn't there? And I think it's James Wilson's name. I think both of them, and even Will Lancashire. Will Lancashire obviously is doing really well in the Championship. So there's some options there, definitely. I think one of those 3 will be brought in, probably depending on which one De Zerbi fancies the most, and then the other will probably go out on loan. So the other 2 will probably go on loan. So we've got Lancashire, Wilson, and Melia there. That's 3 really hotly tipped young strikers. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. And I know we've even got some younger than that. We've got Ollie Bose playing for, I think, the under-18s, who's supposed to be really highly regarded as well. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. I know Mason Melia was really highly rated, wasn't he? So I wonder if he'll get more experience next season, then come into the team, or what. It'd be interesting to see what happens. James Wilson as well. He's been capped for Scotland. He's only 18. So, and Lancashire, just won Oxford Player of the Season. So, there you go.
That goal he scored, that crack from outside.
Reminded me of Harry Kane, did it? You?
It did. It did. Look, I'll draw very quickly on Lancashire. is there similarities between him and Kane? Because there is sort of, I'm seeing a little bit of similarities between the two players. Do you
I
think
think the
he's
way
a
that
bit of
he
a, he's
strikes the
another
ball
late
really reminds me
developer,
of
isn't
Kane.
he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the way that he strikes the ball really, really reminds me of Kane, definitely.
Mm.
So, I do think there are some similarities there for sure. Obviously, I'm not saying that he's going to go on to be the next Harry Kane or something like that, but the way that he strikes the ball really does look like Kane sometimes, but with some of the goals that he scores. That second goal was just prime Harry Kane, wasn't it?
It was. It really was. But look, and kudos as well before we move off this and go on to the rumor mill and the information that we got yesterday and this morning. Kudos. A lot of people are saying in the chat, Billy, and I'm sort of surprised, but not. Kudos is not staying around. Relegation not. Big up Daniela. Atara says Kudos is gone in her opinion. Where are you going with Kudos? Because he is out to the end of the season. We know he's injured. We know Xavi's injured. He's out for 7 months. We know Solanke's going to be injured now. A lot of these players won't be moving anywhere because teams won't buy them injured. In a way, I don't mean to sound flippant. I really don't. And please don't take this the wrong way, but I don't like any player getting injured, but is it a blessing in disguise for us in a weird sort of freakish way that these players got injured, but we are going to have them around next season if we do get relegated?
Yeah.
Is it so? I don't mean to. Yeah, I know it's a bit weird saying, but is it a freakish? Could work out well for us.
I think definitely the ones that are injured long term, and we don't,
Yeah.
and we're not saying that we're happy that they're injured or anything like that. But someone like Xavi, Xavi can't go now, can he? Because
No,
he couldn't possibly go now because he's going to be out for 7 months. So he can't go, and then we might be in a situation where we're in the Championship with, actually we'll be better than Kane. Let's hope. Where we've got Madison, Xavi, Kulusevski in the Championship. It's just unbelievable, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It really is. But look, guys, we will be updating this as the summer goes, Ryan. But do you know what I mean? It's a freakish way it's happened, isn't it? It really is. Now,
who's going to buy these players now? They're all injured. That's the question you've got to ask. It's not whether they want to go or not. It's who's going to buy them. No one's going to buy Xavi now. He's got an ACL. Kudus will be an interesting one. I think Kudus will probably go. I can see him going to like Saudi or something like that.
Yeah.
And I did see that thing that he apparently didn't want to do the surgery or something, didn't he? Because he's worried that it'll be out for a long time. It's probably because he wants to go. Yeah.
Probably. Well, if he wants to go, sling him out the hook. Right, let's start with some rumor mills. Let's have a bit of a laugh with it. And we're going to rate these actually 1 out of 10. Now, this is the first one, rumor mill. Arthur Diaz, he is from a Brazilian club, 600,000. So it's Tottenham's sort of price range. I think we can afford that.
Me and you could go halves on that, maybe, damn it.
We could do actually. Anyway, I didn't know who he was, so I had to do a bit of digging about him. He's a 19-year-old, 6'2" centre back, and he's round 6 out of 1 out of 10 tequila straight away. I love it. Okay, so it's the weirdest one, but would you be surprised if Tottenham did pull off this sort of transfer? It ain't gonna happen, but it was so funny. I had to put it in, like.
Yeah, it's similar to Sousa, right? Because I've never heard of the bloke personally, but doesn't mean he could be the next big thing. Who knows? But I've never heard of him personally.
No.
And we just signed Sousa from the Brazil league, but there you go. I think the last thing we need to be signed at the moment is a teenager from Brazil, though.
Yeah, maybe Johan Lang's got a pipeline into the Brazilian Premier Division. Who knows? Right, so that's enough. But these are the proper rumour mill now about players leaving. Van der Ven to Manchester United, 65 million. Gallagher to Everton, 35 million. 2 clubs after Archie Gray, Bayern Munich and Dortmund. Bergville, Chelsea and Arsenal apparently are looking at him. Vicario, Inter Milan and Juventus, and Romero, Atletico Madrid. Out of them, Billy, who would you sell and who would you keep out of them 6 players?
I'd probably sell all of them bar Archie Gray and Bergville. And I don't think we'll necessarily get better than Van der Ven and Romero, but I think it's just
Yeah.
time for them to move on. They're obviously
Yeah.
both. I don't think either are really happy here, and it's probably time to move on for both of them. I don't think they want to stay, so I'd get rid of them. Vicario is obviously going to go. Conor Gallagher, if we get relegated, he can't be on the wages that he's on in the Championship, so I can see that going. It's not really worked out for him, has it? I know he had a quite good game against Brighton, but Bergvall and Gray, at least they're young, and I think De Zerbi can get something out of them. I know Scott will be Scott in the chat. They'll be absolutely devastated to see Archie Gray leave, so I don't want to do that to him.
I know, bless him. We'll have to soften the blow, Scott. We're here for you. We're here for you, man. I know Tequila might be doing a little jig as well with Archie Gray going. Pair of them probably having the Archie Gray leaving party. I can see it happening. Apparently Barcelona are also eyeing up VDV. With Van de Ven, 65. Do you reckon that's a good price for him, or would you go up a bit higher?
If we get, I'll take that. To be honest, I think I'm not just saying this because he's leaving as well, but I think he's a touch overrated. I don't think he's been great this season at all. I think he's very good, and I think if he went to Barcelona, he'd be brilliant because Hansi Flick plays a high line. Just reading Scott's comment there. The only person, the only one that he'd really suit Barcelona because Hansi Flick plays a similar style to Ange. And in Ange's first season, he was very good because we played such a high line. He's very good at recovery tackles and stuff like that. I don't think he's very good in like a small settled defense where the defense plays deeper. He's not been brilliant this season, so I'd take 65 million definitely. Romero 50 million as well. That's over 100 mil there for both of them. So.
Would you take that?
No, thank you. I'll just take the 25 million rather than Ugarte. Yeah, I'll take the 25 million by itself rather than Ugarte. Thanks.
Yeah, I tell you what, Colin, me and Billy will get back to you on that. It may be a long time, but we will get back to you on that. Now, to be fair, Tequila says I don't hate Gray. I like him more than most of the others. I just had it with all these players. But it is true, though, isn't it, Billy, that these players have rarely grated us.
Yeah,
probably for a good 18 months. And I hate saying it, but all roads lead back to one individual and one person, and that's Daniel Levy, Johan Lang, and all the Steve Hitchen as well. I feel Steve Hitchen he always gets away with it, Steve Hitchen. But if you look at the decent director of footballs we had, Paratici and Paul Mitchell. The only two decent ones we had. This squad is a mixture of managers, isn't it? There's no identity with this squad. I would agree with you. I would take 65 for Van de Ven. I would take 50 for Romero. Vicario can go to Italy. I'd drive him there myself. And Gallagher can go as well because he's been useless. I wouldn't sell Gray and Bergville. And I'm going to get an awful lot stick in the chat for that. I just feel I don't know how you feel.
Scott, you might do.
Yeah, Scott might stand an anti-dermo parade now. But you've been going to the games, Billy. Gray, what's he like live? I always say when you go to a game, you can see a lot more than you can from watching it on TV. Is his off the work ball better than some of the other midfielders he's been playing around? If you know what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah, his work rate. I understand people's frustration with him because he's not like he doesn't chip in with goals and assists and stuff like that, but he works very. I think his versatility is really, really useful as well. And I just think now that we've actually got a decent coach in De Zerbi, they could shape him into De Zerbi could essentially mold Gray and Bergvall into whatever he wants. So there's definitely something there. They're two very. I'm sure if you asked De Zerbi this question, he'd be desperate to keep hold of Gray and Bergvall. He'd probably see. It's like Ange said, didn't he? He says he doesn't want to be the one. He says when we signed him last year, he said he hopes someone else doesn't come as manager and gets to use them because he wants them to be the one that does. So I think De Zerbi will look at those because they're both raw, but there's a lot to work with there for both of them. If you have someone like Poch or De Zerbi, someone who's good at working with young players, I think there's so much there for both of them that it could be good.
Yeah, I like Bergvall. I just do. The rest of them they can go. I think Gallagher was a desperate signing. I'm fine. Be honest, in January, there was other places we could have got, and to bring him in, he's offered nothing. He really has offered nothing. So that's the bit of the rumour mill. But here we go. I don't know if Billy, can you hear me, Billy?
Oh, I'm a bit frozen. One sec.
That's it. There you go. Right. Okay. Transfer update. This is what we popped in this morning. I woke up to it early this morning. So this is the first one. Marcos Senseni. Agreements in principle in place, Billy, for a free transfer from Bournemouth. Still not signed. Depends on Premier League survival. Other clubs monitoring the situation. This is one that we really want to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we can stay in the Premier League, when has Tottenham ever gone out and say, right, we're going to go out early? We've never done this. This is new to us. Who do you think's making the decisions at Spurs now?
Apparently, it's Vinay at the moment, which is a worry. Apparently, Vinay is behind these two. He's behind Robertson and Senesi.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to be anywhere near the football club, let alone making the decision. So I don't think it'll be Langer. I hope De Zerbi is my main problem is that I hope De Zerbi is okayed both of these players. In Robertson and Senesi, who apparently both signing if we stay up. So Senesi, I'm surprised, to be honest, because I know that Chelsea and Man United were after him as well. I'm not sure why he's chosen to come to Tottenham, but maybe it's because he knows he'll get game time. But brilliant player, very good, and an actual, not the kind of signing that we normally make as well, because he's 28 years old. So I think it'd be a great signing if we can get it over the line. But again, depending on staying up, there's a big if there, isn't there?
There is, and look, there's a big sea change at Tottenham, isn't there? There's a massive sea change in wages we're paying now.
Yeah.
The structure's been thrown out the window. I mean, do you think it's too little too late? Because I think it is. This should have been done about 5 years ago. This should be done under Pochettino.
Yeah, I mean, if we'd have done this when we had Pochettino and that squad that we had there, we probably could have won it all. But now we're in a situation where we're doing it and we're about to be relegated. We could be relegated. So it's too little too late, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back to it, Billy. That decline from Poch to now, it's. And I was watching a video last night. I'll find out and I'll send it to you. And it's called The Downfall of Tottenham. And it was the three windows where we didn't buy anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Where we didn't even bring in a tea lady.
Yeah.
I mean, you look back to decisions the clubs have made, Billy, and you look back to this season. I think you can go back to sacking Mourinho. I think that is when it all started to fall apart. Then you had Conte come in and had his rant. A lot of what Conte also said is true.
Yeah.
It's not about, look, just very quickly, I know I'm branching away from what we're talking about, but it's just something I was watching a podcast earlier. And what was his name? Peter, I forget his name. He was the ex-director of football at Manchester United under Fergie and Mourinho. He went to Chelsea as well. Oh, what was his name? Peter, or maybe Colin can put it in the chat and let me know. And he was on about the way you run a football club is United run it as a PLC. That's it, Billy. Yeah. He said United run it as a PLC. Footballing people did footballing jobs. Business people did business jobs.
Yeah.
And you look and Fergie's right. Beckham, right. I've got the best out of David Beckham. He's got to go. Move him on. Isn't it? It's about the right time of moving players on and moving players. Nobody at the football club, I don't think, even managers, if they left it to Mourinho or Conte, right, you do the football inside. Do you think we would be a lot successful? And do you think one of them managers could still be here now with us?
I think the problem, I think it goes back even further than that personally. I think it goes back to Poch and, not signing those players under him was our biggest mistake. And then I think the problem is with Conte, Mourinho, Pochettino, and every single manager in the modern era is that Levy got involved too much. He's not a football man. He's a businessman. He doesn't have a clue about football, but he was, making every single decision, had his hands in everything. And it didn't even necessarily have to be Mourinho or Conte, but if it was like a strong director of football, Mourinho worked with Campos before, Louis Campos. So, these people are happy to work with a director of football if they're any good. Pochettino worked with Paul Mitchell, but obviously Levy annoyed Paul Mitchell, so he quit. And, it's like Levy's getting involved in everything. So I just think, and now Levy's gone, and the same problem is happening, that apparently Vinay is signing these players Vinay is not a football man. He's a businessman. He was the head of the Olympics. Like, what does he know about football? We need to get football people in to make the footballing decisions. So it's annoying.
It is, and you look how other clubs are run, and you look how we've been run like a circus, and that transfer policy has been the biggest disaster of this football club for a good 10, 15 years, Billy.
I know people say Tottenham don't have any football people on the board, but Man City don't have any football people on the board either, and neither do Arsenal. But what they do is they let football people do the football decisions. Yeah. We get them involved. We get the people on the board involved too much in these things. They're not football people, you know. So I don't mind not having football people on the board, but then hire someone a football director of football, to do your work for you. You know, that's what we struggle. I mean, we've got Lango and Vinay, dumb and dumber, as you said earlier. I can't believe they're still at the football club, both of them. You know, it's unbelievable.
I said it earlier. How come an announcement hasn't been made at the end of the season? This will be happening. Yeah. We can't even get a director of football in, a sporting director in.
As soon as they sacked Tudor, they both should have lost their jobs, because you can't have three managers in the season.
No, I mean, I'm being honest though. If you look at Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, Chelsea are a joke, so forget them. They're a joke shop. They're worse than us, and that's saying something. You look at other clubs. You look at Leeds. You look at Nottingham Forest. Okay, everyone might not like it, their owner, but he gets things done,
and he cares as well.
He cares about Forest. Can you tell me the last owner that cared about Tottenham Hotspur?
Oh no, I would have in my lifetime. So
I would probably have to go back, probably pre-Scholar. Back to the early 80s. Scholar took over in 82, 83, I think. So I would have to go back. Alan Sugar cared, I think, a bit. Alan Sugar put his money where his mouth is. All right, nobody may like Alan Sugar, but at least I think he had the right intentions.
And at least he's a Spurs fan as well, isn't he?
He's a Spurs fan. And I don't care what anyone says about Terry Venables or Alan Sugar. They both saved the football club. I don't care where Terry Venables got the money, allegedly. I don't give a damn. He saved our football club, and we drove Sugar out on the promise of the grass is always greener. I think after 25 years, Sugar could probably laughing his arse off, thinking, "Well, I did try to warn you, but you wouldn't listen." I mean, Sugar was a man that bought Clint. I remember the summer we bought Jurgen Klinsmann. It was like my Aussie idealists and Ricky Villa thinking, "What the hell?" Tottenham buying Jurgen Klinsmann. It was just unreal. So look, Sensei is one. If we stay up, then
it's funny you say that, because that's probably the last time we made a real shock signing, isn't it, of that quality?
Yeah, it is.
All the way back to Klinsmann. I know people say Van der Vaart, but Van der Vaart was a cheap signing, unbelievable signing, of course, but he's on the way down from Real Madrid, wasn't he? We haven't gone out and signed a world-class player since Klinsmann, and that's what, nearly 30 years ago now.
Yeah. To your point, Arthur, yes, I am getting nervous. I ain't giving up just yet. Me and Billy are hanging on by our fingernails. We're like one of them.
Still hanging on there.
We're like that fellow who chases the quick bird. Do you know the fellow, Billy?
Wile E. Coyote, yeah.
Yeah. We're like him, trying to hang on by our fingernails. Oh dear. Look, we'll get onto that at the end. Arthur Andy Robinson, Spurs are exploring a potential free transfer. He is interesting. I did break about, I think, a month ago that if Tottenham don't go down, then he will come to Tottenham. But again, it's all dependent on squad direct and where we are in the league. Yeah. I mean, do you think as a whoever's in charge of transfers, God only knows who is, but there has to be a plan B. Are they looking at alternative? And does De Zerbi have to be involved in this, because he's the one that's going to work with them?
Yeah.
Or do you feel, probably like I do, that if De Zerbi sees early signs of what I'm not getting what I want, he could be out the door at the end of the season? Is that fear still in you?
Yeah, and he said that himself, doesn't he? He says, like, you know, it's not whether we're in the division, it's my relationship with the board that's going to keep me here. So, you know, I don't really have massive faith in this organisation to keep him. So, you know, we need a big transfer window. And the thing is with De Zerbi, if you don't give me it, he'll just walk. He's not money interested. He'll just go. So, you know, we have to have a massive transfer window. But I hope all of these signings that you mentioned there, have been approved by De Zerbi, and the players De Zerbi wants, because otherwise it's completely pointless. We see that so many times at Tottenham. Conte said it about Spence, did he? That he was a club sign and then didn't play him. Of course, he's not going to. He doesn't want him. It has to be the manager involved in this process.
Yeah, he has to give. But look, that's another one that could happen. Attacking targets, Club actively scouting forwards. Marcus Rashford, among names discussed, indicates a planned attacking move. But where you are, Marcus Rashford, there was a glimpse, wasn't there, at United, where there is a decent player there, and I think he's had some good games for England as well. He's found some
good games for Barcelona as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's found some form in Spain. Would you take a punt on him? Do you know what? I would. Would you?
I think I would, just because he's miles better than what we've got. So I would on that basis. But, I'd love to go out and sign a really, really quality winger that's not on the decline or something. But who's going to want to come to us? So it might, we might have to be shoppered in this kind of Marcus Rashford. I do know that Barcelona are quite keen as well, though, aren't they? So be interested to see there. He didn't set the world like Aston Villa, did he? But he's done better at Barcelona, for sure.
Yeah, he has. Would you play him as a striker or a winger?
At the moment, probably a striker, just because our striker options are terrible, aren't they? Really,
there is. Tequila, could you please get up to Villa Park on Sunday? Get your boots. You're getting the game apparently. So that's that one. Now, Palunia, Spurs want to retain, but are trying to sort out a lower fee. No full agreement currently in place yet. This is one I think Bayern Munich want to get rid. And we know that. I've been reading that. They want to get rid. I don't think Paulini would mind. He would stay around if we went down to the Championship. Is he the sort of player that you can see as captain in the Championship to lead us out of that? Has he got that about? I think he's got that about him.
He's definitely more of a leader than our other players. Yeah, be interesting to see what happens with De Zerbi and him, because obviously he doesn't really fit De Zerbi football that much, but because that's why he's never started for De Zerbi yet. But at the same time, he might well. His experience could be valuable if we are in the Championship.
Yeah. Where are you on Paulini as a whole? Has he been a good signing this year? Because I think he has.
Well, he scored loads of goals, hasn't he? So he has to be. Yeah, I think it's been a good squad signing. I don't think he's someone that I would like to build the team around, but when you look at his experience and I think he's one of the best tacklers in the Premier League. I mean, statistically, he is the best tackler in the Premier League. So, I think it'd be interesting to see what happens. I definitely keep him around because I think he keeps popping up with goals, doesn't he, left, right, and centre. So
he does.
I keep him around for that reason at the moment.
I just love his reaction when he scored. I thought he was going to do a Xavi and jump into the crowd.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't take his shirt off this time.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. When he did that against Wolves. Oh yeah, when he equalised against Wolves. Oh God, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, put your shirt back on, mate. Just very quickly, I don't know if you've seen the videos, the comedy videos going around the Tottenham's medical team.
I have.
There's some they don't have they shouldn't, but you do chuckle because you're thinking you're getting the spot on, mate. You're getting the spot on. Christian Romero. Interest from top European clubs, Billy. Spurs have set a valuation, could sell if major offer arrives. What are you looking at? 60, 70 million?
I mean, he's only just signed a new contract. He's got a long contract with us. So if we can get that kind of money, it'd be brilliant. But I think we might have to take, because it's been such a poor season, and obviously now he's injured, we might have to look at sort of 40 or 50 mil. But I think he'll go regardless. And I think it's probably time to move on.
Yeah. What's been the biggest for me? I have this love-hate relationship with Romero, right?
Yeah, me too.
He's a player I would follow into the trenches. No problem whatsoever. But I don't think he's a captain that leads by example. He won't go like probably Roy Keane or players of captains of previous eras that would lead you in the battle. He's the one that sort of will hang back a little bit. Do you think he has fallen out of love with the Premier League?
I think so. And he's been hot-headed all season, hasn't he? And he's had 3 red cards and 12 yellow cards. So I think you could argue that he's refereed differently as well. I just think it's probably just better for everyone if he moves on at this point, to be honest, because I think it's just time. I think he gets refereed differently as well. I think there's something in that.
Yeah,
You know, that Wolves red card the other day, I think if that's Romero, he's getting sent off. So, you know, I think it's probably best for everyone if he moves on at this point.
I'm disappointed because there was so much hope for him, and he came in, and I feel the Atletico move in the summer, I reckon that's played in how he's been this year.
Yep.
I think he did get his move, and this is why he's been so vocal about the ball. And fans will buy into that, Billy. Fans will buy into, oh, he's slagging off the board, let's get behind him. But he has let us down. Yes, he scored 2 goals against Newcastle. Yes, he got the equaliser against Burnley. But it's okay making all these noises, but you can't back it up with consistent performances. And when the going gets tough, he's gone missing. And it's left to the younger players like a Gray, like a Bergville, to try to pick up the pieces, where some of these senior players, Billy, are nowhere to be found. Even Mickey van der Ven has gone missing this year. Jets, look at their reaction to Thomas Vicario. And it seems to be left to the younger players. And this is what gets on my nerves, the amount of heat these younger players get. And the Keeler de Bavarium has been saying, look, they don't get as much heat because they're young players. But I think it's very unfair that somebody, there's not a dig at you, Scott. Please don't start the anti-Dermo protest just yet. Just hear me out. I think it's unfair the likes of Bergville and Gray, who have tried, and Kingsley. Look at the remarkable response from Kingsley when some people are saying he's finished, he's done, never wants him in Spurs shirt again. Look at the save he pulled out on Saturday.
Yeah.
These elder players, they've really let everyone down, haven't they, this year, one way, shape, or form?
And it's actually our younger players that have been the ones that have, showing us the temperament, because you got Tell, Gray, Kinski now. It's the young players that are the ones that have really had the attitude, and they might not have the quality. And I know that people that don't like them will say that they don't have the quality, but their attitude is, we've been relying on those guys. So it should be the other way around, really. It should be our senior players dragging these guys. But it's been the other way around. It's been the young players that are trying to drag the old players around. That shouldn't be happening at all. It's disgraceful, really. It's our senior players that have let us down, big time this season.
Yeah, and also I also feel with the change with Thomas Frank coming in, who would you have brought in the summer after Ange? Who do you think the players who would you have gone for?
Well, I said it at the time, so I'm not saying it in hindsight because he's had a good season. But I think if you're going to go from Ange, who plays really attacking football, you've got to go Iraola. Because Iraola, similarly attacking manager, look at the job that he's done at Bournemouth again this season. He might go to Chelsea now. He might go to Man United. He might go to Atletico Bilbao, I know. But I know he's now top list on the top of the list for the Chelsea job now. If we'd have done that, the problem is when you go from Ange to Thomas Frank, they're completely contrasting styles of football. The squad doesn't fit Thomas Frank. Everyone still wants to play the Ange style. Doesn't work. And then, 2 managers down the line, we go and get De Zerbi, who's much more like an Ange style fit. I think we've got the right manager now, definitely. But it's just a waste of time. And it was such a waste of time that it may end up as getting relegated.
Yeah, I mean, look, general squad in general, look, it says multiple players attracting interest due to current season and uncertainty potential for several departures in the summer. I was told by a fellow content creator that we're going to be busy, but it's going to be, content-wise, it's going to be great for you guys. But on the Tottenham point of view, it's going to be really frustrating. I mean, you do have to split it up, don't you, for content and running what we're Tottenham YouTube channel, and think, it's going to be busy for us. We're going to get a lot of content done. But also from a Tottenham fan point of view, it's going to be devastating to see the gulling of the squad. I do feel it's a long time coming, but do you know what I mean? There's a 50-50 sort of split, isn't there? Because you're thinking from a content point of view, that's going to be great. We're going to grow. We're going to get more people in. We're going to be busy. But from a fan point of view, it's really worrying because we're seeing the decimation of our football club in front of our very eyes. I mean, how can you separate the two, Billy? How can you you can't really separate the two, or can you?
No, you can't. And we have to have such an incredibly big rebuild this season that you'd be expected almost every single person to go, wouldn't you? So it's going to be an absolutely wild summer for sure, without a doubt. It'll be a wild summer. I'll be really interested to see what happens in it. But I mean, for sure that there's going to be so many transfers and so many players gone, and even like people like so much overhaul at the top as well. Langer and all that lot have got to go as well. So there's just going to be so much going on all the time.
It's a major upheaval, isn't it? Is this the biggest upheaval in a generation at Tottenham, do you think?
Well, it has to be. It should be. Yeah, it should be. Especially if we go down, it has to be. So, I think it is. Yeah, but it's what they deserve, isn't it? So,
yeah, it is. I mean, if we go down, Billy, I mean, when do you think? And this is general question. Just finish off. I'll hold off on that question. Just finish. I've got one more tab here. Yeah, and then this sort of context. League position will determine transfer activity. If Tottenham remain in the Premier League current targets, likely to proceed. If relegated, several deals will collapse and key players could leave. Summary, Spurs are operating on two parallel plans based on survival. Current strategy, focus on low cost or free transfers while maintaining flexibility. Just I'll park the ending question for ending the show, but just on the last bit, Billy, that is really worrying when I'm seeing that low cost or free transfers. We're supposed to be the sixth richest club in the world. Are we that financially hamstrung that that they haven't told us everything about the finances? Should we? We're going to get Connor on. We'll get Connor again to talk all about it. He knows better than I do, but I'm worried.
Yeah,
I'm flashes of late 80s, early 90s again. I'm getting PTSD of that when we nearly went to the wall. Are you worried as a Spurs fan?
You have to be worried. We're in an absolutely unprecedented situation, but I don't believe anything that we don't have the money to spend, because they make an absolute fortune. So we've got to spend money either way. If we go down, if we stay up. Obviously, if we do go down, then we'll be spending it on different kind of players. But we'll also generate a lot of money on player sales. Romero, Van der Ven, all these players, Porro, Vicario. You might not get as much as you want, but you're going to get hundreds of million there, some between them. Van der Ven and Romero and Porro and Vicario and Benson that should be at least 100 million there. So we're going to get money, and we just got to spend it well. And I'm not even actually too worried about how much we spend. I'm more worried about what we spend it on. We spent loads of money in the last 3-4 seasons.
Oh yeah,
but our squad is terrible. So I'm more interested in who is spending the money rather than how much we spend these days.
Yeah. 700 million.
Yeah.
I mean, think what you could get for 700 million, Billy.
Yeah. I mean, the only comparison is that Chelsea have spent 2 billion and look at their squad, but still, it's more about, it's not what you spend, is it? It's what you spend it on.
No.
Man City and Arsenal, they rarely get transfers wrong, and they spend a lot of money, but they don't have many dud transfers either. So, it's just massive, isn't it?
I mean, you look at the one player who I will not name it. I'll just call him the traitor from West Ham. But did just 100 million. Right, there you go. We won it. We're going to give you 100 million. Job done.
And Cherky was 30 million from Man City.
We were, we had the chance to get these players. I'm not
look
saying
look at what Gahey's done at Man City. Look what Semenyo's doing at Man City. Like, they do spend a lot of money, but they spend it well as well. That's the difference.
See, I knew it wouldn't take Colin too long to come in with the wind-ups. Now, apparently he's raving about this player. Yeah, no, thank you. No, we won't.
We might be playing him in a couple of years. We'll see how good he is then.
I mean, Colin does play a good point. 12 points to play with a 2-point gap. It's not just over yet.
It's not.
It's not. Look, I want a 2-part question to end the show, Billy, and then we'll plug anything we need to plug. Look, let's look on the positive side. We stay up, right?
Yeah.
How much of a wake-up call would that be for everyone at the football club?
It's got to be. And I will never ever back Enoch. I know that. We know that. This show is. We all hate the owners, but I genuinely believe if they do stay up, they will spend a lot of money. And I'm the biggest skeptical of Enoch you'll ever find. But
Yeah.
I honestly think that because of the situation, they have to spend, and they have spent loads of money recently. They just spend it badly. Like we've got the third highest net spend in Europe at the moment. They have to do something drastic if we stay up, surely, because this cannot happen again.
No, it can't. Look, for me, I agree with you. I don't trust Enoch. And I'm a little bit more late to the party. I've always
Yeah.
50-50. I praise Levy if he didn't do well. It was more Levy for me
Yeah.
than Enoch. And I always put them both into one pot. But maybe there were two separate identities, that Levy was one thing, Enoch was the silent partner.
They would have to spend, wouldn't they, if we stayed up? They'd have to.
What would you reckon? 500 million?
Yeah. Well, apparently next season, I've seen Ben Jacobs talk about this before as well. Because we wouldn't be in Europe, we don't have to worry about squad cost ratio. We would be able to spend 500 million without getting a FFP fine. So that'd be we would be allowed.
I remember
to spend
that.
On it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a unique situation that we find ourselves in, where we'd be able to spend 500 million without getting a fine, and surely we have to take advantage of that. I don't think they'll spend that much, but
no,
they've got a one summer where they don't have to worry about squad cost ratio and FFP, so we've got to make advantage of it, surely.
I was saying it earlier, Billy. Like it was top four's a trophy, and FFP was the goal.
Yeah,
wasn't it? And that was the wrong. It was the wrong goal. Right. Worst case scenario, it did happen. I'm trying to focus it right. Good. Get to Everton. Best case scenario, we stay up. Everyone's in a bit of a thank F for that. And okay, it's been a hard season. They might clap the players around. They might chuck rotten tomatoes at them. Who knows?
Yeah.
We're one of the two.
Yeah.
We go down, and we get to Everton. We're relegated. Now, back in '77, people walk around with banners. We will be back. What do you think that would be? Do you think frustrations with this ownership will finally come to a head? That this ownership thinking, God, what have we done?
I hope so. I mean, you wouldn't be surprised if there were riots, would you? Would not be surprised if there were riots in this situation. I mean, I don't know.
Do you really think that, Billy? Seriously?
Yeah. I don't think there would be now. Our fan base are quite. Our supporters have been unbelievable this season, haven't they? Like
they have, yeah.
And I don't know. I really struggle. I don't know what it would be like if we got relegated on the last day. I don't know. I really don't know. I think everyone would be devastated. I know they couldn't do that bloody lap of honour and stuff like that. So I think everyone would be angry, but I don't know if it would be enough to make a point. I don't know. I'm fascinated to see what would happen. Obviously, everyone would just be absolutely devastated, but
yeah,
be interested to see what happened.
I've always said it. I think by Leeds, we'll know where we're going.
Yeah.
Do you think Leeds or Chelsea? Yeah. That game's been rearranged. Actually, one question on that.
Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah. What do you think to that? It's look. To be fair, it's given us a week to prepare. But Chelsea are playing on the Saturday, so I
think it's good. I think it's good for us, isn't it? Because there's only 2 days recovery there. Let's hope that goes to extra time. FA Cup final, extra time, penalties.
Colin, would you stop? We're not getting relegated, mate. Stop with this lower league nonsense. Please stop. He's been sending me WhatsApps of hotels in Bristol City. God knows where else. I mean, if Millwall go up and we go down, I don't that you couldn't that.
Well, did you see all the Lincoln players yesterday on the pitch were chanting for us? Unbelievable, isn't it?
Did you hear the new song Coventry are singing at the moment?
Yeah. Everyone wants to bloody play us, that's for sure.
Just very quick on that, Billy. Coventry. How pleased are you? Look, away from Tottenham, but if you look at a club that was near bankrupt, and the remarkable how good for football is that? Having Coventry come in the Premier League.
I think it's good to have another new name in the Premier League as well, isn't it? It's good to have a fresh name. We keep getting teams like Southampton, Norwich every season, but this is a good one. So I'm delighted. I'm from the Midlands as well, so it's fairly local to me. Really good. That's a good story. I think Frank Lampard's done an unbelievable job there, hasn't he? And everyone writ him off. So I hope we get to play them next season. I really do.
Oh, hope so too. We get revenge for '87. That's all I'm going to say. But Philip Brady's never forgotten that game. I mentioned to him '87 once. He wouldn't talk to me for a day. He just, I'm not talking about it. No, not talking about it. Billy, thank you so much. It's always a joy to do a show with you, bud.
You too, my friend.
I love doing them. Do you want to plug anywhere? Give yourself a plug. Give
No,
anything
well,
a
that's,
plug?
we'll be back to preview another massive game in Aston Villa, won't we?
Yes, we will. We've got a lot coming up actually in the channel in the summer. We've got loads of transfer stuffs coming up, history pre-records coming up as well. We've got, as I say, so what we're going to do, I did play it in going in. So if you guys would just bear with us, I want to play our new intro music going out.
Nice.
This is done by Column's lead guitarist. Now, Column normally sings our intro songs for us, but this is done by Column. Do you want to give him what his name is, so I can give the man a bit of a plug, and the band as well? Now he's written this song, and I'll tell you one thing, Billy, I love it.
Nice.
If you love
I'll
rock
look forward to
music,
listening to it, yeah.
if you like rock music, you'll love this. Now it will be going on to a new intro that me and Colin are going to design. As I said, O'Connell Designs are the new sponsor of the channel, so everything's below the description there. It's called Tottenham Super Tottenham Till We Die, and that's the name of the song. So what I'm going to take me and Billy out. I will play the music, and then we'll end off there. So guys, thank you all very much. We'll be back on Thursday with all the update to that. Billy, thank you again. And also thanks to everyone for liking it, getting us to a
3-2, by the way. That's definitely going to watch that second half.
What a game.
3-2 at half time.
Jeez, we've got good time to go and watch that second half. Thanks for getting us to 1,000 followers on TikTok, which we ticked onto yesterday. And thank you for following us next. But his name is Jamie Christian from Only 6 of 5. So Jamie, big up to you. We will give you a bit of a plug.
That might be the name of our transfer show, mightn't it? Only 6 of 5.
Yeah, Only 6 of 5. Oh, God, that's not a bad title for a show, actually. Well done. On that bombshell, we are going to leave it there. We're going to bugger out, Alf. We're going to end up on this. So, guys, enjoy the song and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Name